Patanjali's Yoga Sutra describes yoga or divides yoga into 8 parts. That is why it is also called ashtanga. Ashta means 8, anga means parts. So what are these 8 parts? Very easy to understand. Yama, niyama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. These are the 8 parts. These 8 parts are divided into bahya and antarika. So bahyanga, or the angas are the parts which are outside, and 3 parts which are inside. But my own tradition, our tradition says it is actually 4 bahyanga, 1 middle, 4 are outside, 1 is in the middle, and 3 are totally internal. Buddha also agrees with the ashtanga. He has what is called as panchashila and trisamadhi. But we are not going into Buddhist sadhana right now. So each of these parts are also steps that one needs to follow, a yogi needs to follow. The first step is yama. Yama means psychological and moral discipline. We saw that the whole of yoga is anushasana, it's a discipline. So here in yama, he is saying you must cultivate, one must cultivate psychological and moral disciplines. And whenever you think of yamas, think of Gandhiji, the Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. The first yama, there are 5 yamas. The first yama is ahimsa. Ahimsa, you all know, it is not hurting, non-violence, non-harming, kaya, vacha, manasa, in thought, words and deeds. In your mind, you will be thinking, oh, let him come in front of me, I'll break his teeth. But your speech will be very sweet. You'll say, aha, what a great man, in front of him. But in your thought, you're very violent. Even that kind of violence is considered ahimsa. There's a tribe in South America where, it is still followed, a ritual where if you hurt somebody in your dream, you go in the morning, apologize and give him a token of gift as, a repentance. It is still followed in a certain tribe in South America. Even if you hurt somebody in your dream, that is violence. So, the first yama is ahimsa. Don't do himsa. Do not do violence. Do not hurt in thought, in words or deeds. Manasa, vacha, karmana. The second yama is satya. Always be truthful. Some people find this very difficult to stick to the truth. Why is this? People lie because they are always looking at external validation. They want somebody else to say, Shabash, you are great, you are good. Even Krishna says, speak the truth, priyam vada, satyam vada, priyam vada. Don't hurt anyone, but you don't have to lie. We all want to be appreciated. Who doesn't want to be appreciated? But appreciation is different from validation. The third yama is asteya. Asteya is loosely translated as non-stealing. But I will explain. It is actually a thought where you say, what is not mine, what does not belong to me, I don't want it. What is not mine, I do not want. Even if there is a golden diamond crown lying on the middle of the road, if it doesn't belong to you, then you will not pick it up. Some of the ancient travelers who came from foreign countries, from China and from Arabia and Morocco, these writers have written that in many of these cities in India, asteya was practiced religiously. If you leave a bag full of coins in the middle of the road, somebody would just take it and keep it by the side. But nobody wants it. Again, we have to go back to the karma theory. Because in India, taking something that is not yours also means inviting somebody else's karma. Who knows what that bag contains? It might contain a pot of gold which was earned by killing and pillaging and murdering. We don't want it. It might have a head of somebody murdered. Nobody would even open a bag, it would just be lying there. At the most, kept by the side of the road. Foreign travelers have written about asteya. The fourth is brahmacharya. Again, this is, if you look at the Western authors, they will write celibacy for brahmacharya. Celibacy as a concept doesn't exist in Indian thought. If you were to remain celibate, then you wouldn't have been given genitals. Here, brahmacharya means the right use of your sexual energy. And of course, Tantra goes deep into how to use this sexual energy in the right way. Brahmacharya means not losing your sexual energy. That doesn't mean celibacy like the West. The West is influenced by the Judeo-Christian Islamic view. For example, in Christianity, you see all these priests and nuns belonging to the Roman Catholic Church. Like the nuns are married to Jesus. They cannot get married again. So what happens to their sexual energy? You know, the priests in Roman Catholicism, they cannot get married. So what happens to their sexual energy? In the West, they say repress it, suppress it. In the Indian context, we say urdhvaretaskara, take it upwards. That is the whole fundamental concept of brahmacharya, to use your sexual energy, because that is the only energy you have. Mind you, you might be doing some research, a person might be contesting elections, or somebody might be earning a lot of money, creating wealth. It is all one energy, the creative energy. And what is the biggest creation a human can do? Create another human. What can be a bigger creation? Isn't it? So, brahmacharya is the right use of the energy, and when we talk about Tantra, I will explain what it means in detail. The fifth yama is aparigraha. Aparigraha means non-hoarding. In fact, there are 4 types of living styles, 4, that is mentioned in Mahabharata. The first type of living is called Siloncha vritti, which means uncha vritti, very high way of living. How do you live? The highest way to live is to eat fruits that have been dropped by birds and animals from the trees. So you don't hurt anything. You don't hoard anything. You don't have bags and bags of rice, or you don't have tins of oil, or you keep deeply refrigerated beef and pork and meat and all that. Whatever is dropped today, whatever is lying on the ground, you take and you eat. That is a very sattvic way of living. The second way of living that Mahabharata says is the Kshatriya way of living, where you do agriculture and you kill and destroy millions and millions of microbes, jiva. You and I who are eating the produce from farms, from agriculture, we get our food by destroying millions and millions of living beings. That is considered to be the second level, second tier of living. Third tier of living is vyapara, by trading. The fourth way of living is called shaunika vritti. Shauna means dog. Shaunika vritti, which means you are working for somebody who is lower than you in intellectual and in their heart. If your boss is of a smaller heart than you, if your boss has less mind than you, intellectually he or she is lower than you, then they say that kind of living is living like a dog. So the fourth one is varjita. They are saying don't live like that. Third category is slightly better, but avoid it. Why? Because you are living between satya and asatya. Trading is all about satya and asatya. Some part you are lying, some part you are telling the truth. Better than that is to do agriculture, fishing and eat from the earth. The best is don't pluck anything, don't destroy anything. Aparigraha, don't hoard. I will eat for today, tomorrow's Shiva. That kind of living is the best living. So here Yama says, think of Gandhi. Gandhi was totally into ahimsa. He was into satyagraha. He was into non-stealing. We know, if you read his autobiography, he tells that he tried stealing gold and putting the blame on his servant. But then he finally accepted that no, I did it. And he practiced brahmacharya, though it is very controversial now that he was sleeping with young women even at the age of 65. He wanted to know, sleeping naked to young women, will he get sexually aroused? Some people think that this is people who are, influenced by the Western thought. They feel that way, that what he was doing was wrong. But Gandhiji was experimenting with himself, saying, will I be able to control or not? And he was able to control his sexual desires. He was a great brahmachari. After the age of 40, in an interview, Kasturba Gandhi says that Mohandas and I have not come together after the age of 40. After 4 children, but till then, of course, he was very sexually active. You read his biography, it's wonderful. He opens up his heart, he lets you into his life. He's a pakka, perfect yogi. Okay? So, aparigraha, non-greed. Let's not hoard anything. Let's not become greedy. What is not required? Two clothes, 2 sets of clothes. One on the body, one on the drying yard. That's it. Why do you need 1,000,000 shoes? I'm reminded of Jayalalitha. She had some 950 pairs. Do you really need so many shoes? She's definitely not a yogi. She's a bhogi. Okay, yama. Then niyama. Niyama is that the yamas are psychological controls which you should avoid, not do. Don'ts. Yama are do's, what you must do. Just like 5 yama, there are 5 niyamas. Okay? The first one is shaucha. Shaucha means cleanliness. Internal and external. Antaranga shuddhi, bahiranga shuddhi. You must be clean inside, again, in your thought, in your words, in your action. Kaya, vacha, manasa. Not just how outside. That is why, again, Gandhiji we have to take. The Swachha Bharat Abhiyan today, which is started by BJP, also has Gandhi as its icon because he was really into cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. In fact, cleanliness is godliness, if you ask me. So there's a very small story that comes about. I don't know why I'm talking about Gandhi today, but really he was a perfect yogi. So there is a story where Kasturba and Mahatma Gandhi had a fight. They have a tussle. On rotation, everybody had to clean the bathrooms. So Kasturba, during those days, untouchability was there. So she said, I am not going to clean the toilet of a Dalit. So Mahatma Gandhi used to clean the toilets on his turn and also on Kasturba's turn. That was his commitment to cleanliness. Not just you keeping clean, but keeping the environment clean, keeping everything around you clean, keeping their thoughts clean. If somebody comes and says, they say nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Somebody will come and say, come, we will, there is a lot of, there is a shop, the owner has gone somewhere and all the sweets are lying open, come, we'll go, steal. He is making you unclean even in your thought. Immediately you must cut that kind of people from your life. Because they are unclean people in their thought. Shaucha, the first niyama, you must be clean. The second is santosha, you must be contented, tripti. Santosha is not ananda. Santosha is when you are happy with what you have. One must have some tripti, isn't it? Content. Okay, today I got chapatis. Should be happy. Tomorrow somebody will bring one big biryani. Okay. Day after tomorrow, nothing. I just have one glass of milk. Okay. Be contented. There is one Kannada song which I'm which I listen to when I look at some people. The song goes like this. Aanegondu yelle yellide. Ninnasegelli kone ide. What it means is, just like the elephant knows no bounds, there is no boundary for an elephant. It will keep roaming wherever it wants to. Similarly, human desires also knows no bounds. So how you must tame your desire is like how you tame an elephant. It is that difficult. And there is a simple tool to do that. Contentment, tripti, santosha. Give thanks for whatever you have received. That doesn't mean you should not look at growing yourself. It means don't be discontent. Don't always be in a negative spiral. There are a lot of people. A person who is in a negative spiral can never become a yogi. Because he is always looking at what cannot be or what he doesn't have instead of being happy about what he has. The next niyama is tapas. Tapas means discipline, austerity, or like they say, the fire in the belly. Tapas doesn't mean go and sit in a forest. That will also come later. But here, tapas means you must have a burning desire to liberate yourself. The discipline. Without the fire of wanting to achieve or wanting to escape from this bondage, or that burning desire to find the truth or burning desire to find love, you cannot go through. One has to pour himself or herself completely into the discipline. That is called tapas. You cannot hold even 1% of yourself back. It's like when you play a game and you want to hit a 6, you must commit. Like if you're playing cricket and if you want to hit a 6, you must commit yourself completely. Swing hard. If you hesitate even a little, it will go for a catch. That is tapas. Be there totally with a burning enthusiasm. Completely. The fourth niyama is swadhyaya. Now, swadhyaya has two meanings and both are right. Swadhyaya means study of the spiritual text. That is Veda, Vedanta, Shruti, Bhagavad Gita, etc. But I am more inclined to take the literal meaning of the word swa-adhyaya, which means self-study. To study my own self. One must do it, otherwise how will you understand who you are, what you are doing, where you are going in your life? Most of the people that you see who have achieved something, who can be an inspiration for others, have all done swadhyaya. They become what we call as pratah-smaraniya. People who we should remember as soon as we wake up. These are the people who have, and if you look at their own lives, like we were talking about Gandhi, or another, let's say, great icon, Rama, what they went through their lives, you will understand slowly that because they had the capacity to look at their own self, they could achieve whatever they did. So it is a requirement, swadhyaya. Fifth one is called Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana means surrendering to a higher power. Now, in the previous darshana, in Sankhya, we did not find any Ishvara, any God, any higher power. This is a major difference between the practice and the theory. Here, surrender becomes important. To understand that I am not omnipresent, I am not omnipotent. Only then, when a person understands this, can he contemplate that there is a journey to take towards that higher power. Otherwise, without a map, you cannot go anywhere. So what is the map? The map is to go from here to there. Grow from where you are. Go and grow from where you are towards Aishwarya. Okay? And also because you are surrendering all your actions, all your yoga, all your meditation, all your practices become nishkama. It's called nishkama karma, which means you are not looking for any result. You're not stuck to result-oriented work. You're just doing it because you want to please a higher power. Because you have surrendered to a higher power. Okay? So these are the yamas and niyamas. Any questions here? Okay. Then the third anga, the third wing, is called asana. Asana is not exercise. Do not confuse asana, whatever the modern yogis are doing or so-called yogis are doing. Asana is explained by Patanjali Rishi as sthiram sukham asanam. Sthiram means where you are able to sit without movement, steady. Sukham, and without any discomfort. When you are able to sit without movement and without discomfort for at least 3 hours, then that is an asana. There are 4 asanas which are prescribed by Patanjali Yoga Sutra: Padmasana, Vajrasana, Sukhasana and Siddhasana. These are the only 4 asanas mentioned and prescribed. All other asanas that we talk of, Trikonasana, Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana, all these asanas you practices so that you can maintain any one of these 4 asanas uninterruptedly, so that you can meditate. If your body is moving all the time, imagine if I was talking like this, I will not be able to gain any attention from you. In fact, there is a warning. If you find a yogi who is very fidgety, who cannot sit in steady, fast attention, if he cannot sit in sthira asana, then he is not a yogi. So you will see most of the gurus, most of the masters are sitting perfectly still. Maybe the hands are moving, maybe the head is moving a little bit. But they are not moving totally, Because if you cannot maintain your body steadily for a long time, then you cannot keep your mind still. The body has to be still. Only then the mind can be still. And we spoke, what is yoga? Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. The waves, the motion that is happening in the chitta, in the consciousness must be stopped, must be stilled. If it has to come to standstill, then your body must also be still. You must learn to make your body still. That is why asanas are required. The byproduct is that you are also going to be healthy. The byproduct is your skin is going to be glowing. The byproduct is that you will have very good muscular strength. All those things. These are byproducts. The next anga is pranayama. Now, you have to understand what is pranayama. Pranayama by Patanjali means control of breathing. You control your breathing. There are three basic elements when you breathe. What is that? The ingoing breath, the breath which is inside of you, and the outgoing breath. It is called puraka, kumbhaka, and rechaka. The breath that is going in is called puraka. The breath that is retained is called kumbhaka. And the breath that is coming out is rechaka. Some people say, oh, Gurunatha, what about the breath that you send outside and then it is all empty? Some people call it as bahya kumbhaka, but that is not prescribed by Patanjali. So, a yogi must learn to regulate his breath, control his breath. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Why? Because breath is directly related to your mind. It is directly corresponding to your mind. I give this example everywhere. If your mind is angry, let us say you are emotionally charged, your mind is agitated, you cannot breathe deep. Your breathing will go, isn't it? When you get angry, what do you say? You cannot breathe deep. Your breathing becomes shallow. So the yogis found out the relationship between your breathing and your mind. They said every time the mind gets upset, the breathing gets upset. So if we can control the breathing, we can control the mind. It's a beautiful, very scientific methodology. Even in modern medical hospitals, if you go into the trauma center, they'll say, please take a deep breath. Breathe, 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 breathe. Because your breathing and your mind are totally connected to each other. So, a yogi has to achieve mastery over his breathing. Otherwise, enlightenment is going to be the least of your problems. Nobody can go towards enlightenment if the breathing is not under control. So the body is still, the breathing is under control. Next what? Next is pratyahara. Then you must test yourself. Am I really a master of stillness? Am I really a master of my breathing? How will I know? By what we call as pratyahara. This is the fourth. This is the middle one. This is in between bahya, outside discipline, and inside discipline. Pratya means anti. Ahara means food. Pratyahara. So what is this pratyahara? We saw that we have 5 sense organs in the Sankhya philosophy. What are these sense organs? Eyes, ears, tongue, nose, smell, touch. Now all of them, if you understand properly, they are all flowing out. Your vision is, your eye is flying out. It's going outside and outside is coming in. It's like a door. Of course, in any door, a door is an opening between outside and inside. So as the vision is going out, the objects are going in. As your ear is going out, the shabda, these sounds are coming in. So here what we do is, instead of making all your sense organs flow outside, we turn it around. All the senses sense objects are called ahara. Do not think that ahara means only food. What you are watching, what you are viewing through your eyes is also food. What you are hearing is also food. What you are smelling is also food. It's a different kind of food. So here you make it pratyahara. You turn everything inwards. So the eyes start looking inside. The ear starts hearing inside. The nose, the tongue, the skin, everything folds inside. The example that is given is that of a turtle. If you look at a turtle, it has 4 limbs, 1 head and 1 tail, which it can withdraw inside of its shell. Isn't it? Pratyahara is exactly like that. You pull all your 6 senses inside, including the mind. And once you are able to do that, how do you know you have done it? The first thing that you will achieve victory is on your kama vasana. Remember the creative energy that was there? You will be able to control your... Yoga is all about control. Control your sexual, your creative energy. Let me tell you the story of Arjuna. Arjuna went to get Gandhiva and he went to get Pashupashastra, Agniastra. When he got all this, he was invited into the Indraloka, Swarga. So he was invited there, and Indra is his father. So he was sitting as a guest of honor, and there was a lot of dance going on, just like Prakriti was dances in front of Purusha. All these celestial nymphs, apsaras. Apa means water, apsara means women who are made of water. That is probably why all the modern heroines, if you say, what is the secret of your fitness? How do you look so good? I drink a lot of water, I keep myself hydrated. All apsaras. So all the apsaras were dancing, and he praised Urvashi as the best dancer. Urvashi, Ramba, Menike, Tilottama, all these nymphs, they were dancing, and he praised Urvashi. So Indra thought that he might be interested to have a sexual relationship with Urvashi. So that evening, Indra sends Urvashi. They are concubines, they are there for the pleasure, these apsaras. So she goes to Arjuna and says, listen, I am here to make you happy. Arjuna folds his hands and says, but you are partners with my father, Indra. That makes me your son. That makes you my mother. I cannot share a bed with you. Please, mother, I just appreciated your dance. That is kamajita. So a person whose senses are going inside, whose senses know how to gather themselves inside. The first result of such a person is that he becomes kamajita. He gains victory over his sensual pleasures. This is the sadhana pada. So all the 5 bahya angas, the 5 parts which out of the 8 parts of yoga form the sadhana pada.